Greetings again, brave warriors. It is I, Dave Makes Noises, the catbug of D&D Storytime on YouTube. I hope that you are ready for some scheme and plot, because today we're asking D&D players, what have you got planned for your big bad evil guy? Part 1. Agnes, Crowley, Dallas, Janum, Jasper, Roland, and Taggart. Begone from this post. Spoilers for your next session ahead. Okay, now that my players aren't looking. Last session, the current big bad evil guy of my campaign was introduced, and next session, the party will talk with him. They're level 8, so fighting him is not a good idea. This bad guy is a dragon god of old who has returned to life thanks to his cult following. This cult needed a vessel to store the spirit of their god, and with no dragon corpses available, they used Dragonborn instead. One of my players plays a Dragonborn, and he gave me permission many sessions ago to have dark things happen to his parents, so I decided that this cult killed his parents and Frankensteined their bodies together to form a vessel powerful enough to house the spirit of their ancient dragon god. So now this dragonborn demigod with 4 arms and 2 tails is about to meet the party in their manor. He's not interested in fighting them. Mostly, he just wants to scare them while also seeing how much of a threat they pose to his plans. I put my campaigns into seasons. Season 1 was King of the Doppelgangers, the Skin King, whom was looking for a way to find their creator, a shape-shifting ooze, Homebrew, who was originally from Feywild in my world. They completed Season 1, but failed to stop the Doppelgangers from taking over the town, so they will be used in Season 3 as a side big bad. They are on Season 2 now, where the big bad evil guy is a cult based on a tiefling that has gained rank in the Abyss and has become a demon lord. The cult desires the power on the island that the party was sent to unleash Malteasis, the demon lord. The true big bad evil guy of this season is the party, because I told them at the beginning of the first season that they should have one true desire that they would do anything for. The power can grant that, but at what cost? Consequences! Then the third and final season, 2 big bags, Sidaris, a Shadowfell patron whom seeks power over the courts of the Feywild, and Asmodeus, who is seeking warlocks to become his new loyal archdevils to replace the dead ones. I do alternate realities based on base D&D lore mixed with lots of homebrew. So, I hope for them to take down the cult, the doppelgangers, Sidaris, and Asmodeus in some way. It's a 2 to 20 campaign. I have a small adventure planned and a big campaign boss planned. First, I bring unto you the Disciple. The Disciple is a mysterious figure in the small town that he rules over. His cult rules in the open, taking in new members every month. Not many know about his cult either, but the 2 things everyone knows is that no one has ever volunteered themselves to the cult, and rarely do new members survive the indoctrination. The Disciple himself is a human that has come into contact with an old god, gaining the ability to test the worthiness of mortals. The party finds themselves in this strange town and soon gain an audience with the Disciple, where they find the truth of the cult. The rest of their journey consists of them digging deeper into the cult and eventually defeating the Disciple. Second is probably one of my favorite creations, Ogrub the Reclaimer. Decades ago, the orc clans of the kingdom grouped up under the war chiefs and their overlord Zog. The hero of the kingdom, Artrius, arrived and helped the guards and fighters hold back the orc clansmen. Zog fell and fled in an act of cowardice, now shamed by his descendants throughout history. Now, the heir to the chief of the House of Honor has risen. Being named Ogrub the War Chief by his clansmen, Ogrub has joined together the exiled houses and clans of orcs. Ogrub marches on the kingdom once more, beginning by attacking Artrius' great-grandson, Arthur, who now holds the famed Sword of Artrius. Ogrub proves himself as a threat to the kingdom by taking out Arthur, and declares himself as the overlord of the new House of Honor. He is dubbed Ogrub the Reclaimer as he quickly takes over the continent. Finally arriving at the capital, Ogrub prepares to storm the city, unaware that the party has been hired to protect the king and his young heir to the throne. Ogrub storms the palace, and the party enter into a skirmish with the war chiefs of Ogrub's army. They are easily defeated by the war chiefs, and Ogrub executes the king, claiming the kingdom as his domain. Ogrub imprisons the party, seeing them as honorable warriors. The party is sent to a gladiatorial coliseum, where they must fight opponents and find a way to escape. Ogrub sees himself as the savior of his people, brought to Earth to right the wrongs of his ancestors. I aim to have the party end up taking down his army by defeating the war chiefs one by one, before ultimately taking down Ogrub. If any of my players are reading this, shoo. This is plot stuff you lot are not supposed to know. So, in order to properly establish the big bad evil guy, I need to explain the history and general plot of my campaign. The campaign takes place where dragons are presumably extinct. This extinction occurred as a result of war between the human faction, humans, elves, dwarves, and all the obviously humanoid races, the demi-human faction, tieflings, half-orcs, and the more monstrous races, and the dragonkin, dragonborn, lizard folk, and the other clearly reptilian or draconic races. The dragons were framed as a villainous group in the eyes of the player party, but were actually the only heroic group in the war. Each of the factions were deeply in the wrong. The human faction, the victors of the war, wanted to claim territory for the sake of claiming it. The demi-human faction just wanted carnage. And the dragonkin fought to eliminate the chromatic dragons that sided with the other two factions. However, history is written by the victorious. The human faction rewrote the tale to throw both the dragonkin and the demi-humans under the bus. I never established how the war ended. The war actually ended as a representative of each nation. The human warrior prince known as Journey, the tiefling sorcerer king known as Lucius, and the dragonborn scholar known as Rogar went to kill Sigma, the void dragon. Rogar, unbeknownst to Journey and Lucius, had a plan to defeat the void dragon. You see, Sigma was kind of a god figure, the heart of another plane. Rogar created a multitude of planar chains, devices that link the planes together. Unfortunately, during the battle, both Journey and Lucius turned traitor on Rogar. Rogar then sealed Journey and Sigma into the void after narrowly killing Lucius. The planar chains were then separated, as breaking all of them would release Journey and Sigma to destroy the material plane. In another cruel move by the human faction, they slaughtered the metallic dragons, winning the war by claiming the capital and killing the royalty of the dragonkin. In the aftermath, Rogar became the new lord of the dragonkin, and the dragons were proclaimed extinct, with exception to the now sealed Sigma. Now, based on that backstory, it is pretty clear that the true final boss, the big bad evil guy, is actually two beings. Journey and Sigma are the final bosses. Currently, the party is under the assumption that the planar chains created by Rogar are just weapons of war, so they've been slowly breaking them one by one. I can't wait for them to realize that they are actually the villains of the campaign, acting in what they believe to be heroism. I've been homebrewing a 1 to 20 pirate campaign for my group in my spare time. Someone else in our group is running Lost Mine of Phandelver as a way to start DMing. He was looking to have a character who can link the two campaigns in a small way as a means to lead into what I have planned. He had found out about a dragon god named Kainano I've created for the campaign and decided to make a fathomless warlock that has this dragon as his patron. What I haven't told him is that this 30 CR dragon will be the big bad evil guy of my campaign. The best thing about it is the fact that the story is built in a way that he won't even know it until the party comes face to face with him. I've set up a decoy big bad evil guy who will run them until about level 16. The decoy is trying to collect map pieces to a treasure vault that will lead right to this dragon. They'll level to 20 as they do a set of trials to find the vault, and then have the hardest fight of the whole campaign without even knowing it. The trials are meant to prepare them for the difficulty and get them items that will be very useful in the fight. High King Rain, a king from a homebrew, ancient, and mostly extinct race. His people broke a taboo so large the gods themselves, homebrew pantheon, not the actual deities from D&D, to genocide the entire race. A few managed to escape, including Rain. He won't be revealed as the big bad evil guy for some time because he's been playing the part as a human king for so long that he truly believes he is human at the start of the campaign and had mostly forgotten his original goals. There are still aspects of his original plans that exist in the world, such as a complete lack of deity worship despite the existence of gods being almost all but confirmed to everyone. His original goal was to sacrifice and absorb enough life energy to tear down the pantheon because to him, the taboo he broke was nothing more than trying to ascend his people into godhood by pretty much doing what he's doing now. After seeing enough clues, his true memories will begin to emerge and he'll slowly go from a stern but fair king to a full-blown tyrant, hell-bent on finishing his plan before the gods take notice of his resurrection. I'm working on a few items for my players to find to beat him because I really have only two main abilities for him. One is a power that allows him to absorb any spell cast at him and using it to refill his energy. The The second is essentially a defense boost. When active, it would take high strength and high rolls to damage him. The second is essentially a defense boost. When active, it would take high strength and high rolls to damage him. Now, I know what you're saying. That's way too overpowered, and I'm aware. He's meant to be able to challenge literal gods, but the items I'm planning on my party to pick up are items that will even the fight out. One is a ring that when activated will disable any magical power in its vicinity, making sure his enhanced defensive is countered. Another is a homebrew tome with the power to reverse a single spell's effects. Though it has limited uses, as it is a very old artifact from Rain's people and is rotting already, artifacts in my world may act differently to D&D artifacts. So instead of absorbing and restoring himself with spells aimed at him, those spells will damage him and sap away his power, hence why I'm only giving a limited amount of use. I want the fight to be the biggest hurdle to overcome. I do have one or two more in the works, but they should have a couple of NPCs with them, as well as after some time, I figured this has turned into more of a raid level boss fight requiring multiple people. I hope you guys enjoyed reading this, and I hope you all had a Merry Christmas or New Year's or Easter or Halloween or whatever, depending on when you're reading it, I guess. Hello to the entire hive mind of universal consciousness manifesting itself through you watching this video with your meat body to the very end, and thank you for doing that, by the way. Love you too, hive mind of universal consciousness. Haha, just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you to please check out our official subreddit, r/MrRipper. If you'd like to share your D&D story with us, that would be the place to do it, as it is the cosmic gateway to our beloved community. If you are a DM or a player looking for a group, you will be pleased to know that at the time of this recording, MrRipper's Group Finder Discord server is over 2,600 members strong, with new games popping up every day. If you love the channel and wish to support us, please consider checking out one of our sponsors or some merch from down below, or perhaps one of our live streams. All the links can be found in the description. How have you practiced mindfulness this week? Share it in the comments. If you love me and want to make me smile, you can follow me at Dave Makes Noises on TikTok. I post daily content there and stream all the time, and I've been having so much fun with it, and you'd be such a peach to join me on that journey. Thank you so much again for watching. We love you over here at Rip Daddy's house. Please sub for nat 20s and ding that dong for advantage on your next attack, saving throw, or ability check. Peace and love.